show, cafecito and tattoos. Hanging with Machi.
Welcome to CNT. I'm your host, Ivan. I'm here today with Mr. Joe Hill, actor, comedian, producer, and alleged joke stealer. How you doing, man?
First of all, thank you for taking the time out to come sit down and, talk a little bit and get to know some stuff,
It's my pleasure to have you on the show. I know there's a lot of people that are going to be very interested in what we're going to be talking about today. Mm-hmm. We're going to get to your successes very soon, but we got to address the elephant in the room.
Let's do it.
Mr. David Arnold, I believe, put a production together that was blasted through social media. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty hard. It was strong. In my opinion, I was shook by it, to be quite honest. So how do you feel being accused and labeled as a thief?
How I feel about it? To be honest, I don't really give a shit about stuff like that. I don't really care for what someone thinks of me from social media. You get what I'm saying? I'm a solid individual. I've been doing comedy for over 20 years. Producing, performing, hosting, putting people in a position, writing my own jokes.
Have you ever been accused of stealing before? Or is this the first time?
No.
Oh, there were 2 accusations for 2 jokes, 2 different jokes. How is your feedback on those specific accusations?
Well, I've been performing my material since 2013. And I can only speak for that, what I've been doing. I have receipts that I've shown. I've gone back. Even his clip that he posted, that clip at me at Levity Live, and he said, oh, it was from my special. His special was aired March 1st, 2020. That footage was October 20th. That was a Sunday night, 2019, West Nyack, New York. Unless I'm Dave Becky or I'm some sort of celebrity, I can't get into your fucking special. I just can't. So I would have never have seen that material or known that material.
But he claims on the video that he's been doing it for the last 7 years.
Okay.
Is there any way that through other comedians or some way, somehow that got back to you?
Everybody's gonna claim how long they've been performing a joke. Everybody's gonna say, oh, I have similar premises or I have things. You know what's interesting? David Arnold did say something in his live that kind of caught my attention. He said that I started stealing at the beginning of my career.
When I started doing stand-up 27 years ago, Mike had this joke. I did that joke a few times when I was out here trying to get my legs under him. And it was in that moment that I realized that's not my joke.
You could look right now, 2014, Corey Holcomb accused him of stealing jokes.
Well, he was talking about how a lot of these New Jack comics be talking about jokes and claiming jokes they don't even know. The old school motherfuckers been did that shit. And that happens a lot. But what nobody is saying that I want to say, these old school niggas is busters too. These old school niggas really are motherfuckers who ain't doing nothing but taking from the game. That's what I call motherfuckers who ain't bringing nothing to the game, nothing original. Just coming and watching what motherfuckers do and taking what they do and running with it.
So Joe, is there a possibility that a writer maybe was at your show, overheard the joke, took it back to David, David not being aware of the situation, just, hey, these are funny jokes, I'm gonna use it and I'm gonna own it and it's mine now because either I paid for it or I got it for free, it's my joke now?
Yes. I mean, yeah, to answer that in full, yes. I mean, it's a possibility, it's a strong possibility. A writer can easily come back to him and say, hey, here's these jokes or here's these things. But I think the interesting part is it really matters who performs it first on a television set, because that way it's notarized. And that way, oh, well, if it's on TV, he must have wrote the joke first. He must have came up with the joke first. He must have written the joke first. That's not necessarily always true.
So how common is it to steal jokes?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of parallels in comedy that people have in common in general. This has been going on since the beginning of comedy. You think we're the only people that have kids? You think we're the only comics? Or you may think you're the only comic that has children, that you write about working with your kids or writing inspirations and taglines about your kids. There are a lot of comedians that have a lot of similarities in their content and premises. The most important thing David Arnold said was he created the word icingless. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all and y'all watching at home, unless you created the goddamn dictionary, how is that even possible? And when I say he said that, David and I were speaking the night that this alleged thing, the video came out.
How did you guys communicate? You called them?
So when it, I was on a flight coming to Miami, been busy on the road, been producing a lot of stuff. So I wasn't even aware of it until I landed in Miami. And of course, the blow up, everybody reaching out to me. So I watched the video.
Well, real quick, how do you feel about the fact that he didn't pick up the phone? Like, from where I'm from, man to man, somebody does some shit, you pick up the phone, you give them a call, and you want to find out what's going on.
Right.
So by the fact that he actually produced a full edited version of what happened, how do you feel about that aspect of it? That he blasted you on social media and not call you?
Well, first of all, I knew he was mad because you're mad when you got to put your glasses on and do shit. Like, I was like, how mad you got to be to put your damn glasses on?
And old.
I mean, listen, man, that was actually a perfect teaching moment for that brother right there. If you felt that somebody offended you in some type of way, if it was brought to you in that manner, I understand that. You're human. I can't tell you. And I don't want to discredit how you may feel in that moment. But that's how you handle it? That's how we're teaching the comedy community to handle business? Go online and trash another person when you could have easily gotten my number? I'm connected in comedy, and a lot of comedy knows that. I'm not hard to reach. I am very accessible.
So you went and you reached out to him?
I went and inboxed David Arnold. Hey, I see what's going on. Let's get on the phone and talk this, and so I can explain my situation, where I got my inspiration, where my jokes came from. I put my cell phone number in there. Then after that, paragraphs from David. He was hot. You can tell he was steaming because he was writing more paragraphs.
Well, if I feel somebody steals my shit, I'll be hot too.
But instead of typing, the number is there.
Right.
Things get taken out of context when you text. We know that as humans.
Right.
You could write something, somebody can easily misinterpret something. Get on the phone. What are you afraid of? It's me and you. But again, his move was already made. He doesn't want to talk to me. Fine. But don't tell me you created the word icingless, my brother. That doesn't even make sense.
So if I was David Arnold, right? I'm in front of you right now. I'm David Arnold. What does a conversation look like?
There's no conversation. He would never be in front of me.
Why is that?
He's not in my lane. He's not in my world. I have no concern to even have a conversation with a man that chose to act like that. And let's just be quite frank. Teaching moment. I want to harp on that. Get on the phone and call. Don't have me teach you now how to do this professionally and how to do this.
Are you saying he's not a professional?
Oh, of course not. What real man does that?
Oh, so he's not a man either.
He's not a man either.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest, if you got your kids watching, what are you teaching them? This ain't the WWF. You're not even a mobster. You're not a gangster. You tell jokes for a living. We humans. If you felt that way, pick up the phone. Don't go to somebody online, because let me explain something. Like you said, where you from? Now, let me tell you where I'm from. When you call out a grown man like that, like how he did that.
Oh, there's consequences.
It's not consequence. It's grown man consequences and repercussions. You have to be able to now deal with what comes back your way. Now, I'm not promoting fighting. I don't have time for that. But this is how I handle it professionally, because at the end of the day, I got a family just like that brother. I got fans. And by the way, I got an amazing album that came out today, my 4th comedy album. So I'm working. I don't have time to stop for bullshit to respond. If you waiting on me, then you waiting on me. I'm gonna respond, excuse me, I'm gonna respond how I'm gonna respond. I don't need to go on social media and do all that and instigate it when I know how to create a platform to respond properly and address the manner. You know what I'm saying?
Have any comedians reached out to you or support?
Oh yeah. I've gotten reached out by a lot of comedians. Big names.
Do they still joke?
Small names. Do they? I don't know. You got to ask David. I I mean, you got to ask Corey, because again, he's been accused in 2014. So again, we can say neither here nor there. He's already incriminated himself saying he stole. Again, it's online. That's not my beef. My beef is not to get on social media and trash anyone. If I felt some type of way, I took the high road. I reached out to him. You did a bitch move and blocked me. That's it.
How do you feel about other comics that jumped on the bandwagon? For example, I don't know if it was a live, but I saw Godfrey come at you hard, bro. So what would you tell him or any other comic that took this opportunity to try to tear you down when they had nothing to do with this?
I've never heard of a man that jumps in front of another man's drama. When they started doing that, that's some middle school shit. I got a problem. He gonna get my boy to speak up for me. Mind your fucking business, Godfrey. And let's just be honest. I've never heard of a man with a name by Godfrey. Who names their child Godfrey? Like, are we serious? Are we serious? So like, I don't even take him seriously. I don't. And he's calling out I'm a principal. Yeah. You were close. I was a dean. 17 years in the Board of Education in New York City.
Well, thank you for your hard work for the kids.
Hold on.
I appreciate that.
I'm gonna say it again. 17 years working for the city of New York. You goddamn right. Working with communities, building our youth. That's more than what the fuck he's doing in his career. All he does is tell jokes. I did all that, and I do what he does.
Wasn't he accused as well of stealing jokes?
When you have time on your hand to research, you can always find something. And there's a comedian by the name of Elverna Kirk. She got a comedy special, whole hour. And Godfrey and her coincidentally have a joke that's of talking about playgrounds. And I just find it interesting that hers came out first, he put his second. They both were at Just for Laughs, so they probably met there. But how do you have a similar joke and you have an accusation online that we can pull up? So I just find it, what the fuck are we really talking about here? You're accusing me of something, not even accusing me. You're jumping in front of another man. That's a real bitch move. So I don't respect you. I don't respect you. Stay over there.
Well, check this out. I have an idea. I made some calls, and I have a good working relationship with BYB Extreme.
Okay.
That's a bare knuckle federation. And I think that I have the ability to put together a boxing with gloves. I know you guys are actors, you're pretty, all you guys are soft. But 3 rounds, 3 minutes with gloves at the next BYB event in Tampa. Are you willing to get in the ring with David Arnold, Godfrey, or any other comedian that has come after you? Plus a 5-minute set before the fight so you two can go at it.
And then the loser can't use the joke no more.
That's an excellent idea, Joe.
Okay, I was joking.
Are you willing to do that?
Yes, first things first. I would love to be a part of a transcending opportunity like that. There has never been a chance where comedians can get into a ring trigon, fight safely. Dave, get your shit together, get on a plane and come down to Miami because I would love to do that.
Make sure you
Why not?
Make sure you DM me if you're interested.
Why not? And let me tell you why specifically. To be able to get into the ring and transcend and create something that has never been done. We've seen rappers get in the ring. We've seen NBA players get in the ring. Mayweather fought a YouTube star. I would love to be a part of a transcending culture.
So
sign me up.
You know there's a lot of pressure with this, right?
I mean,
because if you lose, not only did you get accused of stealing a joke,
right,
but then you get your ass whooped.
But I can fight though, and I like to fight. I would knock David Arnold out. I seen him running before. That's not gonna cut it.
What are the metrics on him? You know his height, weight?
I mean, he ain't cutting it. Jump in the ring, D. Uncle D. Jump in the ring. Safe manner. Your fans, my fans, sign me up. But I know he's not ready for that. But if he don't want to fight, I would say this. Then David, you stand in the corner, and Godfrey, get your ass to Miami. I would love to either fight David Arnold, and if he's not man enough or too much of a bitch to step up and do that, and see the opportunity, since you called me out and you got your boy in now, or do you want even better? You take a round, he take a round.
Now you got both of them.
You take a round, he take a round.
So I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna secure it for you guys.
Man, listen.
David, Godfrey, DM me. I'm gonna make it happen.
But also, wait a minute. Let's talk about the other comedians that have gone through something very similar, been accused, alleged, bashed on social media.
Mencia, obviously that's
Shout out to Carlos Mencia. There's plenty of comedians. Every level of the game, there's people. We've seen Leslie Jones and Precious Hall.
Amy Schumer.
Dave Chappelle has been called out. I mean, we've seen Cat Williams and Kevin Hart call each other out. Instead of sitting here wasting our time, because you're wasting my time, really, if we're not talking about something like this. Let's transcend the culture.
Aside of the boxing, let's get into some other things. You're getting hyped.
You gotta be hyped.
I see you excited.
I'm ready to go train. Like, I don't care who fights me. Somebody is fighting me.
For training, I got a suggestion for you.
Go ahead.
Renee White Boy Rodriguez, the Hialeah champ. And this is the only interview you've done, by the way.
Oh, I haven't done
Shout out to me.
I haven't done, yeah, you definitely got the exclusive. So it's gonna be a lot of people mad that I didn't give them this exclusive. I got my special out. I got my 4th comedy album.
Where can we find it?
You can find my new album back for the first time on all digital platforms right now. Google Play, Spotify, your mom's laptop. I don't know. I'm like, anywhere they're playing it, digital music, you can find it.
Are you gonna continue to have this conversation, what happened with David and the accusations with other mediums, or are you leaving it here? You said what you had to say, and now we're just gonna wait back to see we're moving forward.
I am not saying a damn thing after this.
Would you be willing to come on my podcast if I can get David Arnold so you guys can speak directly?
Sure, it's gotta be after the fight. Sign me up.
Perfect.
You can sign me up now, right after the fight. Will be your first interview.
Thank you so much for joining me on the show. I think it was a wonderful interview. Joe spoke from the heart, and we look forward to seeing either an ass whooping or a man-to-man conversation. See you next time on Cafecito and Tattoos.